Hello, everyone. You are listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. My name is Kiana Rivera, and I'm the Vice President of Membership and Program Development here at the Chamber. And today, our special guest, I am so excited for this one, is Anier Ricardo Vila. He is our newly promoted, I should say, office manager at the Palm Beach Chamber. So hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. I'm so pumped just to dive into your story because I remember some of our first podcasts, you were sitting in the corner over there watching this whole production and you weren't sure about it yet if you wanted to come on the podcast. And I was like, I think you should do it. You would be really good, yada, yada, yada. And here we are.
Yeah,
wow.
I know. I mean, first of all, it was great to see you do the other podcast because, you do such an amazing job. And I was like, wow, Kiana has really got it figured out with these podcasts. So I was like, you know what? I should do it. Why not? Go ahead and hop on there and just, do my best.
See, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, since you joined our team, it honestly feels a lot longer. It feels like a year. Has it been a year yet?
It has not.
Okay.
No, we started in October.
Oh my gosh, only October. Wow. It feels like we've known each other for so long.
But it does feel like that. Yeah.
And when you first came on, we were so busy. And when you came into the office, it was just like a really big breath of fresh air. It's like, for my experience after meeting you and even getting to know you and just seeing how you work and how dedicated you are, and also to see how people gravitate towards you. I don't know if you know this, I'm sure you probably do, but you're so open and friendly. And when you come to these events, sometimes people can feel intimidated.
Right.
And you didn't at all. Even if you did, you couldn't tell.
Yeah, I always try to just be open and try to be friendly to everyone.
Right.
And just be there for anyone that needs me to be there for them.
Right.
So it's just kind of like how I like to
and it's who you are, it seems, which just makes you that much more successful in this role. And I think that you started off as our intern and we just were like, okay, what can we do? You jumped in no matter what crazy thing we asked you to do. You always jumped in. And now when we had our meeting a couple weeks ago to say, we want you on full time and to be a part of this team long term, it was like, of course, that's a no-brainer for us. So I'm so glad you accepted.
Yeah, and I was so happy that you guys gave me the opportunity. Being at the Chamber has been, amazing. I get to meet so many amazing entrepreneurs and I get to go to so many great events that it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for me. I wouldn't necessarily be doing all of this and be involved in so many great projects if I wasn't at the Chamber. So it was just a no-brainer for me as well.
Well, that's good. So let's start at the beginning. Walk me through. Are you from Florida? Where are you from?
I'm originally from the island of Cuba.
Okay.
I moved to the U.S. when I was 9, and I've been in Florida, West Palm Beach specifically, ever since.
Okay.
I did move to Ave Maria to go to school. I got a scholarship to play baseball at...
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's a school called Ave Maria University. And it's around the Naples, Fort Myers area over there. Not too many people know about the area, but it's an up and coming city. Mm-hmm. So right out of high school, I went to Ave Maria, and then I moved over there for 4 years, where I got to play baseball.
What did you play? What position?
I played outfield.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I played outfield.
That's
so
great.
I got to play baseball and go to school.
Yeah.
So that opportunity was a blessing for me. It's what I wanted to do.
Right.
I wanted to stay in Florida because
right. Oh my
we
gosh.
play all year round here, and everyone wants to come play baseball in Florida. So yeah,
is really the baseball community really big here?
It is.
Okay.
It's probably the biggest, state with the biggest baseball community. So.
Oh my gosh. I guess I just didn't. Of course, I don't play baseball. I played softball in high school, but not the same thing. But anyway, that's amazing though that you were able to go to school. And then what did you study while you were playing?
So marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So I got to get that, that experience of playing baseball as well as going to school. And I finished school in 2022. And then I moved back to West Palm, and then I've been here ever since.
When you were in college, any thoughts of going pro?
Of course. I mean, it's every baseball player's dream to go pro. It's just, it's a very competitive landscape. And I mean, you really just have, all of the stars just have to align for somebody to go pro, especially out of college, since there's so much, competition from different, different places like the Dominican Republic,
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, those kids are going pro at the age of like 16.
Oh, wow.
So you're also competing with those kids to go pro as well. So.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, I wouldn't change the experience for anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of glad because now we have you, so I'm thankful. And then when you moved back to West Palm and you were kind of like starting, you were starting your career, you graduated, you're fresh in the marketplace. How did you hear about the chamber? What did that look like? And is the chamber your first gig or tell me about that?
So I mean, I came back, I knew I wanted to work. And the first job that I got was actually at a dental laboratory.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was it's called Precision Esthetics Dental Laboratory.
Okay.
And that was pretty much my first ever, 9-to-5 long-term job.
Right.
And I was basically in their marketing department, working on their websites, their social medias, all of their digital media. And that was pretty much my first, long-term gig.
Right.
And at the same time, I was actually working for an agency, a marketing agency called Mr. Pipeline.
Okay.
And they also gave me the opportunity to work with some of their clients on their advertising campaigns.
Oh, that's
exciting.
exciting.
That's pretty much where I got both of like my paid advertising as well as like organic marketing experience.
Right. Okay. And when you were at the dental laboratory, what did they specifically have you working on? Was it solely to grow their digital presence? Like when you came in, were they like, we have nothing, we need you to start from scratch? Or were you able to build off of a foundation?
Yeah, so they had like a small foundation which I was able to build on and basically work with some of my colleagues to rebrand everything that we had going on in terms of digital media. We created a TikTok for them. We redesigned.
Oh, great.
Yeah, redesigned their website. Just kind of created a whole ecosystem for them to be able to, be on all social medias. I mean, a dental laboratory doesn't have a huge target audience.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's very
Was it more
niche.
aesthetic or was it more like, normal dental work?
So they basically did it all. I mean, we
Okay.
did, aesthetic work. I mean, crowns, implants, pretty much a full service dental laboratory. Yeah. But their audience specifically wasn't, that big. I mean, it's B2B, it's business to business. So we're targeting dentists specifically, right? So pretty much our main audience for the dental laboratory is dentists.
Right.
So, we just worked hard to, if there's a dentist out there that wants to find a dental laboratory, we were there. We were on Google. We were on social medias. We were just everywhere for them, to generate that traffic.
Right. And then for your other firm that you were working for, as far as their clients, what was one of your favorite clients you were able to touch base with?
Yeah, I mean, for Mr. Pipeline, we worked with a lot of home service clients.
Okay, great.
So anywhere from, pressure washing to Christmas light installations. Yeah. And I mean, they were all actually very similar in a way where like we had the campaigns figured out. So like we had, we knew what worked and we knew what didn't. We knew what content to put out there for the advertisements.
Right.
We knew how to target just because we had been doing the same process with so many different home service clients.
Right. Well, and that's pretty amazing though, because you look at pressure washing specifically, or even just the other clients you were talking about and how they're service oriented, very service industry oriented almost. And you really have to get creative sometimes because the market is huge for them. They got a lot of competition. Yeah. They have a lot of so you really have to share their story and make them unique in order for them to get hired.
Yeah, it's interesting because we did have to get creative for us to generate leads for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you'd be surprised at how many of these type of businesses there are out there that are not doing this advertising and that are, missing market share because they're not, taking that next step.
Do you think they know? Do you think businesses like that know that they're missing this in their business plan?
So I think a lot of them know. A lot of them know that, they can advertise and they can do this and they can do that. I feel like a lot of them are a little, scared, and a lot of them haven't had the chance to work with somebody that they can actually trust and, work well with, just because there's so many marketing agencies out there. There's so many, service providers out there. And truthfully, a lot of them aren't willing to, go above and beyond to take care of their clients. So that's another thing. I mean, a lot of them probably aren't, you know, too sure about working with an agency.
Well, and I think too, like the marketing dollars that you have, like marketing, I feel like is always the budget that gets cut when you're in like a really tight spot for business. And so I think that when you're able to, you go and you meet the client and you're able to show that relationship and say, look, like we're going to be here for you to help you grow your business in this way. This is what we ask. And then here's the deliverables that we're going to be able to show you. I think that goes a long way.
It does. It really does.
What are some, just based on your experience and kind of what you've seen so far for Palm Beach and West Palm Beach, what are some big marketing trends going on right now that you think businesses should take advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, so there's many different marketing trends going on. I feel like businesses should take advantage of creating more, you know, personal, relatable content, and just being able to distribute it on all social media, so they can definitely create that SEO, that search engine optimization. So, for example, if somebody is searching for a specific term on TikTok, for example, they would want their business to show up. And I mean, this is done through, you know, for example, optimizing the captions, not just, you know, the content itself. You can also work with the different hashtags. So, I mean, there's strategies that they can definitely work on, but what they want to have is they want to have that presence. Right. So if somebody's searching on Google, they want to be, you know, be the first business that pops
populates.
up. So what they want to work on is they want to basically gain market share for certain keywords that relate to their business, and then that's how they generate more traffic. So I mean, that this works for any type of industry. So that's one, you know, important thing that I would say that they should focus on.
How do you even begin to find that out? Like,
yeah, I mean,
how do you start?
Right, it's just been a lot of research. I mean, I feel like the marketing world and like the technical aspects to it, it's like a never-ending, you know, learning process. Right. I mean, from like, you can optimize from like specific links on your website and how you want, you know, customers to interact with your websites. And like, for example, they land on the home page, and then do you want them to go to a different specific page? You can optimize for that. You can optimize like for on-page SEO, basically the copywriting that you have on your website. Do you want it to relate heavier on a specific service that you do, less on a specific service that you do? And I mean, there's so many different things that you can work with. Yeah, and I mean, I love learning about this. I mean,
you're so contagious when you speak about this. It's great to see because you're passionate about it, and it seems like you are actively learning about this platform.
And you kind of have to, because just everything, all of the platforms change every single day. Everything changes.
When Facebook Meta or whatever, when Meta changes again, you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening now?
And I mean, for example, for targeting, for like Meta targeting, there's always like new rules and new regulations that are changing. And then you kind of have to adjust your plan based on like what's new and what's changing. So yeah, it's an ongoing learning process.
Well, and so how would you advise businesses who specifically have, whether it is a social media marketing person or if it's just marketing in general, how would you advise a business to say this is what you need to look for in a potential hire? Like these are the kind of the key words that you need to see to make sure that you're hiring the right person that's going to do the best for your business.
Right. So I would say for the business, first and foremost, they need to find out what they want, like what they want from this person. Do you want them to focus on, you know, pushing out more content because you're a business that doesn't really have that much content out there to work with?
Right.
Do you need someone that's going to be like more technical and work on, for example, A/B testing different advertising campaigns on Google? You know, so this would be somebody that would need a little bit more experience. Maybe look for that Google certification, somebody that has that experience. Also, are you working with a huge budget? Right. Do you need someone that has experience with like a bigger budget, somebody that's going to be able to actually distribute this budget properly? So this would be somebody that would require a lot more experience and probably at a higher, you know, pay rate.
Hey, right.
Do you need somebody to just, you know, let's say you're a business and you have a well budget for example, social media. Do you need somebody to just focus on social media? So as a business, you really have to know what you need from this hire, and then just kind of go from there, you know?
And what would you say to like real quick, sorry. You're listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. Our guest today is Anier Ricardo Vila. He is our office manager with the Palm Beach Chamber. So we're just kind of taking a deeper dive into his story, into his marketing expertise, especially because he comes to the chamber with a fresh new perspective and has really given us a breath of fresh air in how we do our projects and everything like that. So let us jump into the chamber real quick. And based on the last 6 months, October since now, has it even been 6 months? I don't think so, but whatever it is, kind of walk us through, what do you think that we could do better when we're optimizing our website or even our social media? Because you've seen us day to day, how crazy busy we are.
Yeah.
How can we be better given the amount of time that we have? Like, what are some short things that we can change?
All right, so let's dive a little bit into the chamber.
Let's do it.
The first thing that pops into my head, for example, is so we have all of these great podcasts, right?
Right.
I think a big initiative that we could take is to leverage the podcast to distribute, important, significant clips on different platforms. For example, YouTube Shorts.
Okay.
TikTok Reels. Or TikTok content, because it's Instagram Reels, but TikTok just.
We know what
content.
you meant. No worries.
Yeah. So distribute specific parts of these podcasts, because you're having great people on here on high level
people, yeah.
So you want to take advantage of this podcast and basically distribute it on these different platforms. And I think you will definitely see some growth there. And it'll help us to expand our brand image.
Right. I love that you said the podcast too, because right now, again, and this is purely like just our overwhelming, schedule, but no excuse. I like how we're able to take a look at this strategically and say, these are the areas that we need to grow. And I think that's awesome that you've seen that and you're like, we could really capitalize on this thing, because we're spending the time here shooting this stuff. We're creating the time to put together the description and all of the extra things that go into creating this content. And now we're able to then really push it forward even more.
And it could also benefit like our members themselves, because they're having, their brand image also distributed on different platforms, and it could also add to their membership benefits. Right. So we could look at it that way as well.
Okay. What else? Yeah. That's a podcast check.
Podcast check. Another thing that comes to mind is, like, for example, if somebody's searching on Google for the Palm Beach Chamber or a local chamber, we want to be the first name on there.
Right.
And a big thing that we can take advantage of is Google reviews. We could make an initiative to gain more Google reviews, because what that will do is that will push our pages to the top.
Okay.
It'll push us to the top. And we might even get less calls wondering if this is, the right chamber.
Exactly.
Because we would just be, the first ones on there.
That's actually a great idea.
On the first page of Google. So, just little things like that go a long way, to be honest.
We're going to all listen to this podcast as a team once this is finished. So that way we can take these brainstorming opportunities and go. Because honestly, I think probably most of the phone calls, or maybe not most of them, I'd say at least like 5 out of 10 calls we get is this the right chamber? Is this the North Palm Chamber? Right. Is this the West Palm Chamber? I'm like, no, but here's the number for Chamber of the Palm Beaches or North Palm. So that's funny you said that. Okay, so Google reviews. And when you talk about specific initiatives, because sometimes it's so hard to get people to participate, how would we be able to capitalize on something like that? Just pushing a campaign that's saying, whether it's in our newsletter or other social media?
It can be as easy as pushing, a campaign. It could be on the newsletter, for example.
Right.
And people will be willing to go ahead and leave us a review, because they just love what we're doing for them, and they love us.
That is true. That is
I'm
true.
sure they will have no problem with taking, maybe like 30 seconds out of their day to leave us a good review. And it could also benefit them, because if somebody's looking at our reviews, they can see that their name is on there, and they could relate them to the chamber as well. Right. So it goes both ways, So.
And what about, you mentioned something earlier about Google certificates.
Yeah.
When you have a business that is seasoned here in Palm Beach County, like they've been around for a long time, but maybe they don't come from the tech generation, how could you, as a young entrepreneur and marketer approach them to be like, this is really important for your business, for the longevity of your business, and to sustain it through generations to come.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, I'm glad you brought that up, because, for example, for SEO, once a business takes the initiative to work on their search engine optimization, so they can show up on Google, so they can show up on TikTok, so they can show up on Meta, Instagram, Facebook. This work that they're doing, it lasts the business forever. It stays with the business forever, for a lifetime. And it's kind of like a rolling, a snowball that's building momentum, because the more traffic that, they generate through these SEO initiatives, the more Google says, okay, this website has trust from their users. It has, it's authoritative. So Google says, okay, then maybe we should keep pushing them out, and maybe we should keep showing them to more customers, because also at the end of the day, Google wants users to stay on Google, right?
Right, yeah.
So if you have some great content that's making users stay on your website, Google likes that. It appreciates it.
Right.
So, I mean, this is something that the business will, profit from forever. It just keeps on going. So, and it's a learning process for the business owner. I mean, I don't blame for a lot of different industries for not knowing this.
Right. It's complicated
tips
sometimes.
and tricks, because it can get complicated.
Right.
And I mean, it's just a lot. It's a learning process. But yeah, I mean, I would say it's definitely worth it, because it can go a long way. And another huge point that I can bring up is that if you look at the big players, the big industry leaders, they're doing this.
Okay.
They're on every platform. They're creating SEO optimized content. It's easy for users to find them.
Yeah.
So just look at what the big players are doing, and I mean that should tell you all you need to know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Well, as we wrap up, Anier, kind of tell people how they can get a hold of you, how they can find you.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty much on every single platform. If you look up Anier Ricardo, my agency is also called ARV Marketing. We're also on every single platform. So I mean, just look me up, and I'm sure you'll find me.
And of course, he's at every single one of our events at the Chamber.
And you'll find me at the Chamber at every single one of the events, the big breakfast, the young professional events, I'll be there. So, I mean, if you ever want to talk some marketing, or I mean, I'm also into finance and anything else, I'm there.
I know, and I wish we're going to have you back on, because I know you really love to talk about crypto. And so we're definitely going to have a secondary session where you talk about that too. So stay tuned, because that will be on the schedule for the future. But Anier, thank you so much.
Thank you.